A dozen years ago, I began a rather unusual collection. I mean, lots of people collect things. I started collecting problems. Wherever I would go preach, I would ask the elders to write out the most difficult problems they'd faced in their work as shepherds of the church. As my collection grew, I was careful to remove anything that might identify where the problem came from or who it was about, and I really didn't want the explanation of how they handled the problems. I just wanted the problems. Then, in an annual lectureship program called Polishing the Pulpit, and in other classes, I would create discussion groups in which we would wrestle with these tough issues and come up with reasonable biblical solutions. Sometimes the first thing I'd hear from these groups after I read such a problem was, well, silence. Then they'd sit on the edge of their seats and get down to business. The exercise is good, though, because it helps us on so many levels. Applying Scripture to real-life dilemmas, how to minimize unnecessary damage to a congregation when dealing with problems, and how to work together with other elders when we don't see eye to eye. Well, anyway, after years of prodding, I finally put 100 of these problems into a book called Awake at Night. Each problem is succinctly laid out. There's a brief response to help you get your thought processes going in the right direction. Let me give you a couple of samples. Here's case 88. We have a man who has presented himself for membership in our congregation. He was baptized scripturally several years ago, but sometime later changed his mind about the necessity of baptism for the forgiveness of sins. He now believes baptism is not the step that puts one into Christ or saves a person. He has family here and is otherwise somewhat conservative in his religious views. He's promised never to teach this doctrine. Should we refuse him membership? Here's case 73. A woman came to her elders with this statement: "My conscience is killing me. I want to confess my sin. I've committed adultery. It was a one-time sin. I deeply regret it. I've asked God to forgive me, and I want you to pray for me. And please don't tell my husband, because he will certainly divorce me, and that's the last thing I want." Question: should we tell her husband, who is also a member of the church here? Well, imagine using this book for elder grooming in your congregation, or for men's retreats, or for Bible classes, or just for personal growth. The title of the book is Awake at Night.